And it's worked out so well so far for Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns. Peter, one thing that you're watching for in tonight's final Thursday night matchup between the Jets and the
Could he keep this going? Because it went from being a fun story to now everyone in the NFL and especially the AFC saying, yeah, I don't want to face those guys. Like, threw for 368 and 3 touchdowns last week. On 4th and 7, they said, our kicker's hurt. Go figure it out. And he threw one of the best passes you'll see ever to Amari Cooper to put that game away. Flacco is playing as well as any quarterback in the league right now. And yes, he'll throw a couple picks here and there. But he is so poised. He is throwing these bombs to Cooper. And it's not just Cooper. And Njoku had a day a couple weeks ago. And Bell made the big play 3 weeks ago. Flacco's in pure control here. The Jets' defense is good. They've had better days in the last few weeks. Obviously, they surrendered a bunch of points to Brissett at the end of the week, and then they got blown out by the Dolphins a couple weeks ago. But they're a prideful defense. They'll come, they'll play. But if Flacco gashes them for like 320 and 3, and the Browns win 31-7 tonight, you better believe that the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Dolphins, they don't want to see that Cleveland matchup in the wild card round or even in the divisional round, and I'll say it, even in the AFC championship round, because Flacco's been there and he's done it. They've got one of the best defenses in the league. They've been just ravaged by injuries, and Flacco is now not just a fun story. Flacco is one of the better quarterbacks in football, and I'm saying that on December 28th, 2023, nearly 10 years removed from when Joe Flacco was the best player in football and winning a Super Bowl MVP, and there has been a lot of valleys since then. I think it's a cool story. I think it's more than a cool story. I think they're a team to be reckoned with right now, and I would not want to face them.
It's amazing. Flacco has played in only 4 games, no training camp, no preseason.
Here we are.
And just got out there, and he's been balling. To your point, can he keep it going? But I'm going to flip it over because the talk on this game is going to be all Cleveland Browns. The Jets are eliminated. There's no playoff hopes. There's not much to talk about with them. But still, Breece Hall, my goodness, is unbelievable, and he is fun to watch. This guy, week in and week out, no matter what it is, he finds a way to show up and play for this New York Jets offense. And you look at a full screen I want to show you guys of him among some of the best running backs to ever play this game. This is games with 95-plus rushing yards and 95-plus receiving yards. The main thing, you see it highlighted in yellow. Look at all of the games for the other guys on that list. Breece Hall, just in his second year, torn ACL, LCL and all, 22 games and he's already done this. This was last week against the Washington Commanders where he was running the ball, catching the ball, had multiple targets, I think 12 targets that he had when it came to receiving. This guy is so fun and just a second-year player that they haven't found a way to surround him. Garrett Wilson's on the outside as well, but still he's able to make yards and do things for this Jets offense. He had one of the best 2-yard runs you'll ever see last week of reaching the ball across the goal line. So, yes, Thursday night we're all watching the Browns. We're all watching Flacco to see if he can keep it up. Breece Hall's kind of that little nugget on the other sideline where you're just like, all right, let me just see what Breece does. Let's see what he can figure out a way to do and make yards and make plays for his Jets offense.
You know who Breece Hall's teammate was last year on the Jets? Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco a year ago was the Jets quarterback and beat the Browns, throwing 4 touchdowns for the Jets, 31-30. It's amazing how this thing comes around. And I'm with Peter. Like, I'm not only looking at Flacco, I want to see this Flacco-Amari Cooper thing continue to roll because I like when people say outlandish things and then they hedge it by saying, just saying. I'm just saying. Do you want to look at the first 4 games that Flacco and Amari Cooper have played together and where it ranks? I'm just saying, guys. There it is. How many yards they've had as their first 4 games together. You can have my 10 and Rice, Peyton and Harrison, Aikman and Irvin, Amari Cooper and Joe Flacco head and shoulders above them. And now there's these takes I'm seeing where it's like, look, Amari Cooper might be the best receiver Joe Flacco's ever played with.
Interesting. With
due respect to late career Steve Smith and Anquan Bolden and Al. Remember those Ravens teams always had this thing where they didn't really have like a real number one. It was the defense and there was all kinds of Dennis Pitta and running games.
Torrey Smith.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. And we love Torrey, we love those guys. Amari Cooper's a pro's pro. And it's like they have this immediate chemistry that is obvious just watching it, and I don't know how the hell they have it, but it's really fun to watch. You feel like these guys have had 7 seasons together, and they were college teammates. No. Alabama and Delaware, they were not college teammates.
They did not play.
They couldn't be more different. The only thing they really have in common is they're good veterans, and they don't really talk to the media.
They don't talk.
No, I think maybe that's good. Like, Amari Cooper does not like to talk. Joe Flacco does not like to talk, but they're letting their play do the talking, and like, I feel like I'm watching like Burrow and Chase tonight. Like I want to see Flacco and Cooper. I didn't really want to see either of those guys at the season started. Amari's great, but it wasn't on our top list of the Justin Jeffersons. I can't wait to see him. They're doing things in their first 4 games that the legends have not done. Immediate chemistry, I'm in.
That he has not done. He already has amassed the most yards in a season that he's had. It's his 6,000-yard plus season, Amari Cooper. Yeah. And he's also doing things we've not seen before, which is we had a clip of him speaking in the locker room after a game, cheering the guys on, like, rah, rah, let's have Amari address the team. And he did. Peter, the AFC playoff picture is a tremendous one because there's still so much movement that could occur before things get cemented.
Cleveland's still alive in the AFC North. They're still away. Cleveland can still get in there. So you're looking at the Browns right now. They're the 5 seed. I think they'd be favored heavily over the Jaguars. The Browns, they lose, they might go down a notch, but they're pretty safe. Let's see if they can solidify themselves. Of course, the big game is Ravens-Dolphins this week.
Yeah.
All eyes on that one.
This one, and then on the NFC side, of course, we're looking ahead to Lions and Cowboys, but let's look at the landscape of this conference. Is it crazy to think, Jason, that this Joe Flacco-led Browns team could march all the way through the AFC and find themselves in Las Vegas?
Come on.
You're watching it, and you're like, at some point, you're like, Joe Flacco has to slow down. I just said it.
Why?
No preseason, nothing. At 38 years old, fresh from being at home, looking after the kids. But you can't doubt this team right now. Each and every week he's gone out there. The last 3 games, he's over 300 yards, and he's finding a way to get this offense going, like you guys said, to Amari Cooper, to David Njoku. But everything that Joe Flacco's doing, remember, the Cleveland Browns have one of the best defenses in the NFL. Them and Baltimore Ravens are probably at the very top with Myles Garrett and crew of everybody that they have over there. So you look at the team that surrounds them. When Deshaun Watson and everybody was going through the injury, it's like, we just need a quarterback to steady the ship. Flacco has come in and done way more than that and created so many plays for them to go out there. And when he's throwing the ball 40 times a game, so it's hard for me to sit here and doubt that this team can't go all the way to the Super Bowl.
He's done it before. The path that he took with those Ravens Super Bowl team in 2013 is one of the most epic paths in the history of the sport over a January stretch. They start off, they beat Andrew Luck and the Colts, and they did that at home. And this was when Ray Lewis took the final snap of the game and took a knee and did that in front of Baltimore. And it was a cool moment. I was there for this game. Then they go on the road and have to face the number 1 seed Denver Broncos on a Saturday night game in Mile High, and no one picked the Ravens. And he's hitting Torrey Smith on this bomb for about 90 yards early in the game. And then in the biggest moment, he hits, obviously, Jacoby Jones touchdown. Then they go into Foxborough, where they're huge underdogs, and he beats Brady. So he went Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, then faced Kaepernick and a loaded 49ers team and beat them. But what I thought was always amazing was that, and I always talk about his road prowess, he went into Denver and beat Peyton, and then went into Foxborough and beat Brady the next week, and then, of course, goes to New Orleans and wins it. So, you're looking at the schedule. That's a far more esteemed list and a far more decorated group than saying, okay, well, he can go into mighty Miami, where they don't have much playoff experience, or mighty Baltimore, where they haven't won a playoff game in Baltimore, and maybe since that year with Flacco. I don't have they might not have won a Baltimore home playoff game since then. I know they lost to the Chargers in a home playoff game recently, and to the Titans recently. So, why not? It's 2023. We have random guys that we never heard of, leading teams to Super Bowls. This is what we do. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of my point. Don't you think in the football god's perspective, we're going to end up with some backup quarterback in a title game or even the Super Bowl that they want us to be it, and it's going to be Flacco or it's going to be something insane
Saints
like Jake
Browns.
Browning. Why the hell not? I feel like they're messing with us this year. But there's something that I missed a couple months ago when the Flacco thing first surfaced. I didn't see this. But this is going to be a picture that if the Browns go on a run, that becomes legend. It's going to be, never mind Cleveland, Ohio, it's going to be in Canton, Ohio. Did you see this picture in November? Bring it up. This is Joe Flacco on the plane. Someone saw him on a flight from Philadelphia to Cleveland, and they posted it, Cleveland sports fans, and now the NFL Instagram is running with it. That's him showing up to go to the Browns. And you got, it's perfect. You got the person on the left wearing their red stocking cap. No, that is not Adam Vinatieri on the right with the silver hair. That's not him. That is not Donna Kelsey in front of everyone's making all these jokes. But that is Joe Flacco looking about 7'3" on this tiny plane over the overhead bin. That's him showing up to save Cleveland. I love that picture. It couldn't be more Joe Flacco. It wouldn't surprise me if he was in row 37 or if it was an airline that it rhymes with hear it. But Joe Flacco got there, and now he's trying to get on a plane to Las Vegas. Are they going to go to the Super Bowl? Probably not.
Yeah, why not?
Probably not. I wouldn't bet on them because I don't bet. But either way, I still think we're not going to have like the stock Super Bowl game this year. Like I don't think it's going to be Ravens, Niners, or something like that. I feel like there's going to be something nuts.
happen.
It's been too weird of a season. I just hope Joe Flacco stays upright because that picture is going to Canton if they do this thing.
Can we see it one more time?
Sure.
Because there's a couple alarming things that I think all of us who travel as much as we do that we should bring up. He is either fully turned around in first class, or he, as Kyle mentioned, is coming up from the very back of the plane. Because exactly, either he's like, look, he just had to board late, so his bag is back a couple rows, completely acceptable.
He looks thrilled.
But eventually he's gonna have to turn around and go out because he's in row 2. Or he is waiting for the people that clapped when they landed and to get his bag down because he was in row 35. This is fantastic.
I love Janice in front of him. She's like, so what do you do?
Yeah. You're tall. How's the weather up there?
Yeah, I'm kind of a football player. I was, but like now I'm currently.
Terry, he plays football.
You know him?
You know him? What's your name?